Hi, I'm Kurt Smith. Welcome to App Talks, a series of conversations with Salesforce customers on how using business apps from the App Exchange can help you manage all aspects of your business. We're here today with Dan Bergstrom from Workfront to talk about how using inContact's agent for Salesforce has helped Workfront dramatically increase their sales effectiveness and the number of qualified leads for their sales teams. Welcome to App Talks, Dan.
Thanks, Kurt.
So tell me a little bit about Workfront and your role there.
So Workfront is formerly AtTask. We're a company that helps other companies get work done. We're one of the leading providers of enterprise work management solutions. We provide solutions to companies like Cars.com, Cisco, Schneider Electric, Trek, just to name a few. We're based out of Lehi, Utah. We currently have about 500 people on staff there. When I first started 2.5 years ago, we were at 250. So we've seen a lot of growth, from the employee side. A lot of that is attributed to, what we're selling and how successful we are. But, a lot of that in the way that we kind of attract top talent is, the culture of the company. The culture of the company is great. We have it's kind of a work hard, play hard mentality. We have a lot of things based to help us kind of focus on what we're doing. In our break room, for instance, we have a pool table, a ping pong table. We have an Xbox, a PlayStation, and people are kind of free to go through that. We have a couple of Coke Freestyle machines. Nothing says I'm happy to be at work like having to choose which 140 flavors to choose from,
Exactly.
Right?
Big decision.
Big decisions. First world problems, Kurt. So then you go into, my team. So my team is, right now there's 45 people on this team. They're kind of broken up into two. We have our inbound guys and our outbound guys. And the inbound guys are the ones that kind of handle and field all of the marketing requests that come in, whether that's from a show or an event, or they hit our website and are requesting more information. Our outbound guys are really focused on going after those larger organizations, and they're cold calling in there. They're trying to find ways in to get those people to talk to us about how they do their work.
And how long have you been using Salesforce?
Workfront has actually been a customer of Salesforce since 2006, and they're integrated with over 43 different apps from the App Exchange.
Amazing.
So we're pretty heavily integrated with Salesforce here at Workfront.
And how did you find inContact? What was the situation that led you to them? Why did you need them?
Perfect. So I have a history of kind of working in the call center industry, and I saw there was a lot of positive things that you can get from the inbound world that I could implement into the outbound world. So when I first got there was 7 people on the team, and those 7 people were hand dialing and making calls. They would make the calls on their phone, and then they would have to go into Salesforce, create a new activity, log all the activity information, save it, go back out, start making another call. So it was kind of repetitive, and it was very time consuming for them to do. So we decided to go out and start looking for a solution to help us be more effective in the way that we do work. So we found inContact, and it's kind of helped us get the data that we need to be more effective.
And what were some of the high-level initial results that you saw?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of the results that we've seen have led to our higher lead to qualification rate. Our higher qualification to accepted rate, which has in turn, led to really positive year-over-year growth for the company.
So let's dive a little bit deeper. Tell me some more. Do you have any numbers, any data you can share with me on how your organization, your inbound and outbound side have both changed since you started?
Yeah, let's talk about the people, right? I think that's the key part as far as us being effective. Being able to get our hands around a lot of this data has helped our people be more effective in their jobs, which in turn we've got to pay them more, right, on their compensation. So, they're happier because their jobs are easier. They're happier because they're more effective. And in the end, they're happier because ultimately they're making more money. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of the reason why I come to work every day.
Of course.
Let's talk about their day-to-day work. So that's where we're seeing a lot of the improvements. Like I talked about before, their jobs are easier, right? They're able to just they're able to click one button with the inContact application. They click the phone number in Salesforce, and then it automatically calls the prospect that we're trying to get a hold of. And it'll automatically log all of that information in the activity log in Salesforce. So now the great part about that is I have all the data I need, which is important to me, and they are able to easily do their job without having to make too many mistakes or have to make too many clicks, in Salesforce to be able to log that information. The great thing is now I get the data that I'm looking for, and it's given me that effectiveness model that I need to go up to our CMO or to our VPs of sales, to the people who run the company, and I'm able to justify the work that we're doing. And I can say, if you need more pipe coverage, I can help you with that. I just need X number of people to do that, X number of leads to get that done. So the effectiveness has greatly improved the way that we do work. We're able, like I said earlier, to increase those conversions. When I started, our qualified lead to accepted, it was 50%. I did the math, and roughly we were wasting salespeople's time a day just on accepted leads that were going nowhere. So that's a pretty significant amount of time and money and energy. So we've taken that up to 80%. Because of that, we currently provide 90% of the pipe coverage for the sales team. To give you perspective, Kurt, that is, the industry average is 40%. So it's a pretty significant
result. Absolutely.
Pretty significant result, which in turn has led us to 49% year-over-year growth in our subscription service. So with using the inContact app and Salesforce in combination, I have that reliable data I need to be effective. I can tell how many attempts are made for every one. I can now get more reliable information around what type of activities we're doing and when we're doing them and how long it's taking us, and shrinking those time frames down to add more into that effectiveness. But one of the better benefits for us has been for our coaches. On my team, there's 2 coaches, and their sole job is to listen to calls and help our people become a lot more effective in their conversations. So the great part is they're able to go in and see how long have these calls been. Do we have somebody who needs to learn how to be better on their pitch, right? To be able to get people interested from the beginning. Or do we have people who are having a hard time kind of closing that call and getting people to be excited about moving on to the next step? We can go in and pull reports, and we can see exactly how long each of those calls have been, and we can pick and choose based on that report the calls that we see are going to be the most effective for us to coach on.
So you've seen greater transparency and visibility into your team. You can report to upper management. They have greater visibility into what you're doing, how you can be more effective, how you can help the company make their numbers. How has all this impacted, from a people point of view, the staff and the culture?
That's a good question. The people that work for us are a lot happier now, right? It's because they're able to justify all of the work that they're doing. And as we talk again a little bit about some of the coaches, it's great because they're learning the skills that they need to move on to the next level. So I really focus hard on being able to get people who want to move to the next step. And it's those coaches working on those conversations, helping them kind of drive better results in a shorter amount of time, which in turn makes them a lot happier. Makes, like we said earlier, the more money they make, the more happy they are to come to work.
Why don't we take a look at how coaching actually works at Workfront? So welcome to App Talks, Coach Chris.
Thank you, Kurt.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how coaching works and your role at Workfront?
Absolutely. Our coaching team works hand in hand with our managers to provide teammates with targeted coaching. The manager plus coach model we have adopted allows a leader, in this case a coach, to focus solely on teammate development. This creates a very supportive and positive environment for the teammates to engage and work on their progress. Our process in coaching really is simple. First, we raise the teammates' awareness of their current state, and second, we hold them accountable to that awareness. If the teammate can't identify what they need to do next to improve and are held accountable to that awareness, they continue to improve month over month.
And how has working with Salesforce and inContact made your job more effective and hopefully easier?
It actually has. Salesforce and inContact are key pieces in our process to raise teammate awareness and hold them accountable. The reports we run analyze a teammate's behavior to allow us to find areas of opportunity. Also, inContact's recording system helps us review teammate call quality. The ease of access saves us a great deal of time in finding and reviewing calls. This expedites feedback to the teammates and gets them working on what they need to do.
And I know you've been a coach for quite some time. Can you share with me like one of your favorite success stories?
Yeah, sure. Well, early in my time here, we had a teammate that I was brought in to coach because they were struggling in the role. The individual was really bright and honestly implemented all the feedback really faithfully. With coaching, we saw some small gains, but we never could get them to reach their full potential. Eventually, through the coaching process, we discovered that there was a mindset issue that was causing them to be consistently an average teammate. The mindset issue was they're focusing on a key performance indicator around dials made. Once we were able to replace that with number of conversations and quality of conversations, their productivity doubled. And in fact, last quarter, they led their team and led the department in reaching their quarterly goal attainment.
Well, that definitely is a great success story to go from an underachiever to an overachiever. That's fantastic. So can you share with me what would be your number one tip if I was a sales leader and I was struggling with trying to build a really high-performing sales team?
Really, the number one tip would probably be focusing on teammates' behaviors and not their numbers. Consistency is a habit, and too much focus on a specific performance indicator can create interference for the teammate and really drop their performance. Helping the teammates build habits around key behaviors and ensure that they are enacting those behaviors on a consistent basis. If we do that, the numbers will follow.
That's great advice. Thanks very much, Coach Chris, and thanks for joining us on App Talks.
Thank you.
So Dan, one of the things we like to do on App Talks is do some peer-to-peer knowledge sharing. So if I was a manager of an inbound and an outbound team and I was looking for a solution, I was really struggling on how to increase my effectiveness and my conversion rates, what advice would you give me?
It's a great question. So, one of the main things that I focus on and that I see when I help other people with these organizations is to know your numbers. So that was, like I said earlier, one of the big reasons why we chose the inContact app and Salesforce was it was able to give us the numbers that we need to justify the work that we're doing. We're able to go in now, and like I said, we were able to go to upper management, and we were able to request extra headcount if we needed it. We're also able to go in and kind of see, where our challenges are and how we're able to kind of take those challenges and focus on those and turn them into positives. It's kind of a you don't know what you don't know type of mentality,
Absolutely.
right? So the second is that a little coaching will take you a long way. Again, adding that piece of having those call recordings. There's a statistic that if you have just moderate coaching, you can see 4% gains. With a good coaching system, you can see upwards of 20%. So using, inContact, we're able to, and the recorded calls that we have, we're able to go in and make improvements to these people in the way that they communicate, and not just what they say, but more importantly, how they listen and what they're hearing, is going to make a bigger improvement on these people than going at them and kind of poking at them to dial, which leads me to my last one, which is don't forget the people. You know, they're there to do a job, right? And if you want them to be successful, they have to feel that. You know, a tendency for people who run in, you know, organizations like this is to look at the people that work under them as kind of dialing machines. How can we get them to push out more calls and push out more calls, instead of looking at it from how can we be effective? How can we make better calls? You know, it's easier to, instead of walking in with a shotgun, you know, we look at it as like going in with a sniper rifle. But the people are what's important. You know, the people that we hire are not people who want to be career sales development reps. We look for people who have career paths, who want to move on. It gives them, you know, that internal drive and motivation to succeed. You know, this job is arguably one of the hardest jobs in any company.
For sure.
Nobody likes sitting on the phone, getting told no 100 times a day. But these guys do it day in and day out because they see a light at the end of the tunnel. We've had a lot of turnover in my organization, but most of it has been upwards. So I'm more than happy to backfill a position for people who've been promoted up into sales.
That's incredible. I really like the personal aspect of that, because you're right. I think it is one of the hardest jobs you can possibly have.
It's tough.
Cold calling people. But thanks for being here today, Dan. I really enjoyed talking to you. And thank you for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you on the next App Talks.